Wish I was back in Texas. The ocean's no place.
In my 2 years of doing YouTube every single day, I've been wrong a lot of times, but I've also been right a lot of times. I correctly predicted the Tekken Bloodline series months before it was even announced. I predicted Kunimitsu's release months before it was announced. But where the predictions sorta turned left is when you talk about Season 5, but also the release of Tekken 8. I think the time frame for Tekken 8 has to be one of the most confusing things ever. It's kind of funny. I compare Tekken 7 to GTA 5. Both of these games is so old. They're both from a different era of video games. Twitch existed, but Twitch was nowhere near as big as it is today. Fortnite didn't even exist when Tekken and GTA first came out. Think about how much has changed since then. You didn't have battle passes, you didn't have cosmetics, not widespread. I talked about it in the past video, but the Tekken subreddit went from 6,000 people to 150, right? So much has changed. I have a poll here and it talks about when we expect Tekken 8, or I would say when we want Tekken 8 to release. Now, one thing that I will say before we even talk about the poll and what everyone's hopes and wishes are, let's talk about the facts. Let's talk about the little information that we do have. One thing Harada said, and this was one of his most recent statements talking about Tekken 8. He said he does not want to release Tekken 8 the same time as Street Fighter 6. He do not want these games to crush each other, to collide and create some sort of battle. We all know about these battles. You have NBA versus 2K, you have Battlefield versus Halo, Battlefield versus Call of Duty. All of these other games collide. Saints Row versus GTA, Watch Dogs, GTA. He does not want that same sort of rivalry to be formed during launch, during release. He does not want people going into stores and holding Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8 in both hands and seeing which game do they want to buy. He does not want that. He said he will purposely delay his game to prevent that from happening, so people can actually buy both, right? With that being said, Street Fighter 6 is confirmed to be releasing in 2023. There's a bunch of gameplay online. The game looks really polished for where it's at in this alpha or pre-beta, whatever they want to call it, but it looks really good so far. So I'm guessing early 2023, the first half of that year, right? And you have to wonder, will Tekken 8 be announced at the end of the world tour? If it is, that means they either can release it the second half of the year, once Street Fighter 6 is kind of out of that first 3 months, they're in that sort of 6-month range. Because once you hit a year, people start expecting Season 1, Battle Pass 1, and stuff like that. But you do have a good 3 to 6 months before any of that arrives. And that gives Tekken 8 a window to launch, to slip in there. If they do not reach that 2023 second half of the year, then everyone starts turning towards 2024. Now, there was leaks that happened like a year ago, 6 months ago, however long ago. There was some leaks that suggested that Tekken 8 was coming out this year in December, I believe. December 1st, I believe. Now, that could have been the case. It was also said that Overwatch would drop, and Overwatch is still on course to dropping when the leaks said it was. Street Fighter 6 is still on course to drop when the leak said it was. Maybe Tekken 8 was going to drop there, but Harada delayed it. So if he did delay it, we have this poll. Let's talk about it. When for Tekken 8 to make its reveal on That's kind of a jumbled sentence, but we get what it's saying. As long as it will make up for 7 and finally bringing Jun Kazama back. 384 votes on this. That's a decent size on a Tekken subreddit. 179 votes. This is the winner. Is 2023. Now, I would disagree with this because I think 2023 is when we wanted to drop, but considering that we haven't heard anything about it at all, Harada hasn't even said the word Tekken 8. He hasn't even said the word Tekken 8. I think 2023 is not happening. If you would have asked me this like a year ago, 2 years ago, I would have been like, yes, there's no way it won't be out by then. But now it's looking like it's almost guaranteed. It's almost certain. If I was Tekken, I would not want to compete with Street Fighter 6. I would not want to do it. Number 2 on this poll, 66 votes, says 2024. I will put myself there. I think 2024 is way more realistic because it's away from Street Fighter 6, and also it gives them time to make changes, to adapt. Harada said that he was watching the release of Street Fighter 6. He wanted to learn from it. Sega said the same thing. And I think that 1 year buffer gives him time to get crossplay, gives him time to get netcode, even though he should be working on that already. They were patching Tekken 7 a few months ago, trying to work on it. I don't know why they stopped that. They should have kept on working and using Tekken 7 as a beta for Tekken 8. So when Tekken 8 gets here, they know what to do. And who knows, maybe they did figure it out. Maybe that's why they stopped, because they have the answers they were searching for. But 2024 is a big year in terms of gaming. This is also when people believe that GTA 6 will be releasing. Now, in my opinion, competing with GTA 6 is way worse than competing with Street Fighter 6. Because I'm a YouTuber, right? Covering Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat is what I do. But when GTA 6 gets here, that's going to be hard, because GTA 6, I grew up with that game. That game is my passion. And I feel like the whole gaming genre overall is like glued to that game. And it's going to be very difficult to get people to play Tekken when GTA 6 launches. And it just makes me wonder what they're going to do. You either compete with your rival, Street Fighter, or you compete with one of the biggest games of all, not one of the biggest games, but the biggest game of all time. It's a tough situation for them to be in, but I think the only solution is for them to make a good game. A good game will stand the test of time. Even though we give Tekken 7 a lot of flack, like if you focus on what Tekken actually is, it is a good game. It does have a very solid foundation. All of the problems the game has is fixable. Balancing, netcode, cheating, those are all things that a different developer would fix overnight. Call of Duty, Fortnite, these are other game companies had these same problems, but they fixed it immediately. Tekken just doesn't. That's why it seems like such a big deal. But if you remove all of that, the game is very fun, and it's a reason why it's still selling the way it is. A lot of people predict it to sell 10 million copies at the end of the year. Street Fighter 5 is not in that same position. It may have better netcode, better balancing, better this, better that, but it's not selling the way that Tekken 7 is. Not even Mortal Kombat. That says a lot about Tekken. Looking at this poll further, 2025, 2026, 27, and 28. Now, everyone voting 28 is obviously trolling. They're obviously just, this is also a part of the community who just feels like it will never happen. It's been so long already, and it's just like, to give you guys an understanding of what the community is feeling. You already know this, but still. The first playable version of Tekken 7 was in 2014. 2024 will be 10 years later. That's 10 years of one Tekken game. Never before has that been done. Tekken usually follows a 1 to 2 year cycle. Tekken Tech Tournament 2 was about 3 years. 10 years is huge, is massive. Now that wouldn't be a problem, right? That wouldn't be a problem if one, they kept supporting the game, and two, like I said, fixed the problems. But I don't want to be repetitive in this video, so I'll end it with this. 2022 is not likely. Maybe we'll get a teaser or something at EVO, maybe, but I really don't think so. Considering how they just completely abandoned EVO 2021, I think they'll do the same for EVO 2022. 2023, at the end of the Tekken World Tour, they'll do the same thing Street Fighter did. Announce the Tekken World Tour, a few months later, once Gamescom and E3 show up, show the game, get everyone hyped, and then next year in 2024, drop it. Release it to the public, fresh, hot, and ready to go. One thing you have to wonder around that time too is Mortal Kombat. Mortal Kombat, or NRS, is working on something. Will their game come 2023, 2024, 2025, right? It's a lot of question marks up in the air, and I just want to talk about this and sort of give my ideas, my opinions, because I did 2 videos like this in the past, and my mind has changed so much since then because the situation itself has changed, right? The topic has changed itself. So we got to adapt and evolve. And I just want to do an update video about this, just sharing my opinions and my thoughts of what will happen and what I think won't happen. I seen a comment, it said 2022 will be Tekken Bloodline. Marketing, publicity, the focus is on that. 2023 will be marketing and publicity, and the focus will be on Tekken 8. And 2024 is when it will be released. And if we're lucky, 2025 will be season 2 of Tekken Bloodline. But let's not do that, right? That's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. I just want to talk about this and share my opinions on the subject. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.